Part 41. Swallowed Star, My Understanding is Beyond Belief. Author, Bo Yoon Song. Chapter 401. The time and space in the abyss is very stable. Although it was destroyed by Luoxia's sword in an instant, it was soon restored again. In the vast void, Luoxia stood with a sword. In the distance from him, it was the seriously injured Third Lord. Tisk. Luoxia shook his head with some regret. The founder of the giant axe was also very sorry and said, if the realm of the ancestor of reincarnation really reached the strongest in the universe, the sword just now would be enough to kill the Third Lord. But now, he is just the Lord of the universe, and there is always a little difference in realm, and he cannot be completely killed. The strongest in the universe is too difficult to kill. Especially Luoxia has not yet become the strongest in the universe, even if he uses the sword 23 that surpasses the axe method of the founder of the giant axe, he cannot really kill the Third Lord because of his insufficient realm. But even if he can't kill the Third Lord. At this time, the second strongest man of the God Eye clan was also seriously injured by Luoxia's sword, and the most powerful treasure, the Star Hand, was also damaged. If the Third Lord didn't have the most powerful and precious Star Hand, the ancestor of reincarnation should have been able to kill the Third Lord with that sword just now, right? The stunned golden demon god muttered at this time. Ancestor of reincarnation. The Third Lord looked at Luoxia in fear. The sword blade that seemed to have slashed from the end of the endless time and space reincarnation just now directly cast a shadow of death in his heart. How long has it been since he became the strongest in the universe? How long has it been since he felt this oppressive feeling of death? The last time he had the illusion of dying was when he was fighting against the original ancestor. This time, if he didn't have the most powerful and precious Star Kingdom and Star Hand, if it was an ordinary strongest person in the universe, such as the Sixth Lord, he would probably fall under Luoxia's sword. Xin Chen. The sixth true Lord, who had already fled to a distant place, was secretly relieved to see that the third true Lord was still alive. However, seeing that the third true Lord was weak and his most powerful treasure was damaged, he also felt fear for Luoxia. This human race's reincarnation ancestor was too terrifying. He almost killed Xin Chen True Lord. You know, Xin Chen True Lord is the second strongest existence among the 7 strongest people of their God Eye clan. Fear. The sixth true Lord felt a deep fear of Luoxia. I keep my word. Since you didn't die after taking my sword, today's grudge with your God Eye clan is over. Luoxia put away the black sword and looked at the third true Lord indifferently. The third true Lord was speechless. For some reason, after hearing Luoxia's words, he actually felt a little relieved. This feeling made the third true Lord feel extremely humiliated, and he felt suffocated in his heart. He really didn't know what to say. He wanted to say something cruel. But the Third Lord knew very well that if he dared to say anything more, and Axe and Rorschach joined forces to attack him, he would really fall. The strong men of their first universe era were indeed crazy. But they were not crazy enough to seek their own death. The Third Lord glanced at Rorschach, and seeing that he really had no intention of attacking again, he was about to take out a palace-like treasure and leave, but the founder of the axe, who was carrying the divine axe, spoke. Wait a minute, Star-Lord, your grievances with the ancestor of reincarnation are over today, but your grievances with me are not over. The Third Lord felt very aggrieved, and looked at the founder of the axe and asked in a deep voice, Axe, what do you mean? The founder of the axe looked at the Third Lord indifferently, and said calmly, leave 3 treasures of the peak palace level, and our grievances today will be over. The Third Lord was so angry. He was like this, and Axe wanted to ask him for compensation. Moreover, they are 3 treasures of the peak palace level. Treasures of this level are extremely precious. Any one of them, if placed in the original universe, is enough to make many universe masters and the strongest in the universe fight for it. The founder of the giant axe actually wants 3 now? After some consideration, the third true lord looked at the murderous faces of Rorschach and the giant axe, and finally compromised. He couldn't not compromise. If he didn't compromise again, he might have to leave his life today. Okay, 3 treasures, said the third true lord, 1 peak domain treasure, 1 peak palace treasure, and 1 peak soul illusion treasure. As he spoke, the third true lord threw out 3 streams of light and flew towards the founder of the giant axe. The founder of the giant axe stretched out his hand, grabbed the 3 treasures, took a look, and put them away. Swoosh. After the third true lord threw out the 3 treasures, he immediately turned into a stream of light and left quickly. He didn't dare to stay any longer. Rorschach, you're amazing. The departure of the third true lord did not concern the founder of the great axe. He only saw the greatest existence of the human race, second only to the original ancestor, looking at Rorschach with emotion and said in admiration, "My axe technique took me countless years to create. I didn't expect that you only took a glance at it and comprehended the great principles contained in it, and turned it into a sword technique, which is even more powerful. It's really amazing." Rorschach smiled slightly and said, "The so-called great way is the same, and I can't comprehend the founder's axe technique with just one look, because I have had similar accumulation and comprehension before. Today, I was inspired by your axe technique, so I can perform Sword 23. No matter what, your understanding is a blessing for our human race," said the founder of the giant axe. After saying this, he looked at the Jinhuang demon god in the distance and shouted, "Jinhuang, please don't leak out what happened today for the time being." The Jinhuang demon god laughed like a child and said, "I understand what you mean. The God Eye clan suffered a great loss today, and they will definitely not take the initiative to tell others about your obtaining the most powerful treasure. After all, they probably hope that others will also suffer from your hands." As he said, the Jinhuang demon god looked at Luoxia. "Your human race has such a powerful reincarnation ancestor, whose qualifications are even better than the original ancestor back then. I don't want to make enemies with you. Even if you don't tell me what happened today, I won't spread it." "Thank you," the founder of the giant axe thanked him. Although most of the strong in this universe fight each other for the treasure, sometimes not everyone is an enemy. For a strong alien who has never made enemies with the human race, such as the golden demon god, it is of course best to make friends. "I'll leave first," said the golden demon god. As soon as the voice fell, it turned into a stream of light and disappeared at the end of the void. Originally, it came to the 9th abyss to get the strongest treasure from Luoxia, but now seeing that Luoxia almost killed the third true master of the God Eye clan with a sword, the golden demon god has no intention of competing for the strongest treasure. Its strength is still a little worse than that of the third true master. If he fights with Luoxia, as long as Luoxia uses the extremely terrible swordsmanship just now, he will not be able to stop it. Even if he can stop it, his defensive strongest treasure will probably be damaged like the third true master's star hand. The golden demon god only has this most powerful treasure. If it is damaged, it will be heartbroken. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 402. After the Jinhuang demon god also left, only the 2 Rorschach brothers and the founder of the giant axe were left on the scene. The founder of giant axe looked at Rorschach and said, "I came here after hearing that you were being chased by the strong men from the Purple Moon Holy Land and fled into this abyss. When I entered here before, there were still strong men from the Purple Moon Holy Land staying outside. I'm afraid that as soon as you go out, then the powerful men from the Purple Moon Holy Land will rush forward." After a slight pause, the founder of the giant axe continued, "But after I come here now, those powerful people in the Purple Moon Holy Land will probably be a lot more jealous, so you 2 will go out with me later, and when you leave Yanshui Lake, you 2 brothers can go wherever you want." Rorschach cupped his hands and said, "Originally, I didn't need your giant axe to go there in person. I haven't paid much attention to those strong men from the Purple Moon Holy Land, however, I was worried that the strong men from the Purple Moon Holy Land who were massacred would form an immortal alliance with them. That's why I left some room and escaped to the ninth abyss with my eldest brother. If they continue to be so ignorant, I don't mind killing them. The founder of Giant Axe laughed loudly and said, "The original ancestor gave me personal instructions when I came to the spaceship, telling you to do whatever you want. So what about the Purple Moon Holy Land? Wasn't the original ancestor killed by the original ancestor and turned into a shrunken turtle in the future? Just kill me again, so you don't have to worry about anything." Luosia's eyes lit up when he heard this. Did the original ancestor really say that? Of course. Originally, the original ancestor wanted to tell you personally, but at the critical moment, he suddenly realized something. After learning that you were being hunted by the Purple Moon Holy Land, he hurriedly informed me and went to retreat. Said the founder of Great Axe. I see. Luoxia bared his teeth in a smile, revealing his cold white teeth, and his face was full of murderous intent. When he was being chased by those powerful people from the Purple Moon Holy Land, he was filled with anger. Now that the original ancestor said so, he just no worries anymore. Luo Feng saw Luoxia's smile in the cauldron of 10,000 beasts and shook his head with a smile. Of course he knew the anger in his brother's heart. Not to mention Luoxia, Luo Feng himself was actually very angry and angry because of the pursuit in the Purple Moon Holy Land. Just to take the overall situation into consideration, he persuaded Luoxia not to go on a killing spree. Come on, let's get out of here. The founder of the Giant Axe said, hold the Divine Axe, split the space, and take the lead in escaping into the distance. Luoxia returned to the cauldron of 10,000 beasts and took his eldest brother Luo Feng to follow the founder of the Giant Axe. In the cauldron, Luo Feng and Luoxia were exchanging their thoughts on watching the battle just now. He only heard him say, I thought that after I became the Lord of the Universe, with the Star Tower in my hand, I should be able to narrow the strength gap with the strongest person in the universe, but after watching your battle just now, I found that even if my divine power is not weaker than the strongest person in the universe, but at the level of secrets, he is still unable to compete with the strongest person in the universe. Luoxia said, brother, you are right, but you are wrong when you say that you cannot compare with the strongest person in the universe at the level of secret methods. Huh? Luo Feng looked at his brother doubtfully. His understanding is indeed good. But it cannot be compared with Rorschach's incredible understanding. Why is Xioxia so sure that he can rival the strongest person in the universe at the level of secret arts? Luoxia said, brother, you can't create the most powerful secret method at the stage of Lord of the Universe, but the level of the secret method on the Star Tower is very high. According to my estimation, when you reach the stage of Lord of the Universe, you can activate the stars. The secret method of the second level of the tower. The second level of the secret method of the Star Tower is comparable to the most powerful secret method of the Lord of the Universe, and the third level is equivalent to the level of the strongest person in the universe. Although you can't create it, you can drive the secret method of the Star Tower. Tattoo. Luoxia looked at her elder brother with a smile, so, elder brother, when you reach the level of Lord of the Universe, your combat power will definitely be no weaker than the strongest in the universe. Luo Feng raised his eyebrows slightly and said in surprise, I also know that the secret patterns of the Star Tower are very powerful, but is the third level of secret techniques enough to rival the strongest secret techniques of the strongest person in the universe? In terms of understanding, Luo Feng cannot compare with Luoxia. Luoxia could see how powerful each level of the Star Tower was, but Luo Feng couldn't. He could just feel that the secret method of Star Tower was very strong. But he couldn't tell which level of secret law each layer of secret law represented. It took nearly 3 months to get out of the abyss. After being inspired by Luoxia, Luo Feng began to comprehend the secret patterns of the Star Tower. However, because the level of the secret patterns of the Star Tower was too high, his progress in enlightenment was very slow, so he went to comprehend the secret patterns from the Lord of the Five Huns. The secret pattern on the God of Extermination armor obtained. Although the level of the secret patterns on this Extermination divine armor is not as good as that of the Star Tower, it still reaches the power of the Lord of the Universe's fusion of the strongest secret techniques. Once Luo Feng is able to use it, his attainment in the secret pattern flow will reach the level of the Lord of the Universe. The main level. While comprehending the secret patterns of the divine armor of extinction and the Tower of Stars, Luo Feng's incarnation of divine power and Luo Xia's incarnation of divine power were both comprehending the most powerful secret patterns in the mysterious space of the abyss. Luo Xia, Luo Feng, we are out of the abyss. The voice of the founder of the giant axe came. Luo Xia and Luo Feng looked outside through the cauldron of 10,000 beasts. Sure enough, they had gotten rid of the terrifying suction of the abyss. At this time, they returned to the area where Ting Guo was in the frozen lake of Yanshui Lake. Middle. It's a giant axe. The ancestor of reincarnation and the Silver Wing Lord. They are indeed still alive. Having the most powerful treasure, the ancestor of reincarnation has the means of the strongest person in the universe, so he can naturally survive in the abyss. Should we take action? Take action? The founder of the great axe of the human race is also here. How can we take action? Outside the abyss, there are indeed many universe masters. Most of these universe masters are from the Purple Moon Holy Land, and a small number of universe masters from other forces rushed here after hearing the news. At this time, they looked at the 10,000 beast cauldron and the founder of the great axe rushing out of the abyss, and dared only to discuss in a low voice, but did not dare to step forward to rob. No matter how proud they dare not challenge a powerful universe strongest. As for why they dare to chase and kill Luo Xia, that's because they know that Luo Xia's true realm is only the master of the universe, and he has not really reached the level of the strongest in the universe, so with a fluke mentality, they dare to chase and kill Luo Xia. But facing the long-famous founder of the Great Axe, these universe masters don't have the courage. What a pity, the founder of the giant axe is here, so we have no chance to make a move. There is no way. Although the founder of the giant axe of the human race does not have the strongest treasure, his combat power is extremely top-notch. We cannot provoke him. Alas, I have lost a strongest treasure. Some universe masters are unwilling, but they can only be unwilling. They dare not really take action to challenge the might of the giant axe. I will send you away from the flame water lake, and then we will separate. The founder of the giant axe glanced at the universe masters, and then said to Luo Xia and Luo Feng in the 10,000 beasts cauldron. Before leaving, wait for me to kill a few people. Luo Xia said murderously. Clang. The sound of the sword resounding through the universe exploded like thunder. The next moment, the boundless and vast sword blade appeared out of thin air and slashed at several universe masters of the Purple Moon Holy Land. Thank you readers for your subscription, reward, and vote. Yunsong thanks. Thank you for your monthly tickets and rewards. Thank you so much. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 403. In the first universe era, in a small universe. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. The Lord of the Five Huns stood in front of the railing of the temple, looking at the endless land below. The sky was filled with white clouds, and the breeze was blowing across the earth. Although the scenery and environment of each planet in the universe are different, most humanoid life forms have different views on the earth. The requirements of the ecological environment are inexplicably the same. For example, this God-Eye clan. In the small universe they live in, the ecological environment in most places is similar to the living environment required by the human race in the original universe. There are blue skies and white clouds, lush plants, and lakes. Wuhan. An afterimage suddenly flew from a high altitude in the distance, and then hovered in front of the Lord of the Five Huns. Anyang, why are you here? The Lord of the Five Huns saw the person clearly and asked with a smile. The incarnation of the Lord of Anyang's divine power flew directly to the railing and next to the Lord of Wuhan. There are 7 small universes in this God I clan. The universe masters of the God I clan are scattered among these 7 small universes. However, in other small universes, almost every master of the universe has an incarnation of divine power to keep the news flowing. In the past, Lord Anyang had a good relationship with Lord Wuhan. Later, because both of them suffered losses at the hands of Luoxia, their relationship is getting closer now. What's wrong? The Lord of Wuhan noticed that something was not right about Lord Anyang's expression, and there was a vague look of fear, so he couldn't help but ask. Lord Anyang did not answer immediately, but asked, "Have you got the news about the ancestor of reincarnation?" The ancestor of reincarnation. The Lord of the Five Huns was stunned. Although he was extremely resentful towards Luoxia, he had been in seclusion since the death of the main warrior in the 9th abyss and lost the divine armor of extermination, trying to go further in understanding the law, to make up for the decline in strength after losing the treasure. Therefore, he has less exposure to news from the outside world than the Lord of Ernst and Young. What happened to the ancestor of reincarnation? The Lord of the Five Huns asked quickly. Didn't he die in the abyss? Lord Anyang shook his head. He did not die in the abyss. Yes, he has the most powerful treasure in his body, the Lord of Wuhan said with a rather ugly expression. He had already expected that the ancestor of reincarnation would not die in the abyss. After all, the most powerful treasure is a bronze tripod. This kind of treasure has the strongest defense. If it were replaced by another type of most powerful treasure, Rorschach might fall into the terrifying devouring power of the abyss. So the ancestor of reincarnation came out of the abyss, the Lord of Wuhan asked. Lord Anyang nodded, with a touch of fear on his face, and said with a slightly trembling voice, "As you know, in order to get back your extermination armor, the first Allah sent the star Allah and the blue eyes Allah. As a result, not long ago, the clan someone inside saw that the 2 gods came back with injuries." The Lord of the Five Hun frowned. "I know that the founder of the giant axe from the human race also went to the abyss, but the founder of the giant axe doesn't even have the most powerful treasure. How can he hurt the star god and the blue eyes god?" "I don't know the inside story." Lord Anyang shook his head. After the star god and the blue eyes god came back, they kept silent about what happened in the abyss. Except for the first god, no one else should know what happened. Let's go back to your question just now. Lord Anyang looked at Lord Wuhan, his voice trembling even more. Not long after Star God and Blue Eyes God left the abyss, the ancestor of Samsara and the founder of the giant axe came out of the abyss. As soon as the ancestor of Samsara came out, he launched an attack on the Lord of the Universe in the Purple Moon Holy Land. The 6 masters of the Purple Moon Holy Land, including the Lord of Yi and the Lord of Sed, all died in the hands of the ancestor of reincarnation. The Lord of Wuhan looked horrified when he heard this. What? He couldn't believe it. The strength of the masters of the universe such as the Lord of Fenji and the Lord of Sed is comparable to him. Even the Lord of Sed is slightly stronger than him. How can such a powerful person from the Purple Moon Holy Land be so strong? They all died in the hands of Rorschach. At that time, there were 18 strong men from the Purple Moon Holy Land who were guarding outside the abyss, and they were all attacked by the ancestor of Samsara. Except for the 6 masters of the universe who died, the rest of the masters of the universe were also seriously injured. A few people also damaged their own treasures. Lord Anyang added. The Lord of the Five Hun couldn't believe it, and said as if muttering to himself, how could this happen? He couldn't figure it out. Weren't the people from the Purple Moon Holy Land chasing the ancestor of Samsara before? Why did the ancestor of Samsara kill him after he came back from the abyss? Did the founder of the giant axe take action? After thinking about it, the Lord of the Five Huns only came up with this one reason. Except for the founder of the giant axe, he really didn't think that Logosya could defeat the 18 masters of the universe in the Purple Moon Holy Land. No. Lord Anyang shook his head. The founder of the giant axe did not take any action during the whole process, and only the ancestor of reincarnation took action. It was only after the ancestor of reincarnation defeated the Lord of the universe in the Purple Moon Holy Land, the founder of the giant axe let it go. He said that in the future, anyone who dares to bully the original cosmic human race in the cosmic sea will have the best fate for the fallen master of the universe in the Purple Moon Holy Land. The Lord of the Five Huns was shocked. Are the human race of the original universe going to completely fall out with the Zeo Holy Land? That is the Holy Land universe. The strength of Holy Land universe in the universe sea is at the top level. They have no end of reincarnation, have existed for who knows how many years, and have a foundation that is enough to be proud of any other force. Even if the Divine I clan has 7 of the strongest people in the universe, they do not dare to really fall out with the Purple Moon Holy Land. Where did the human race in the original universe get their confidence? Well, back then, the original universe human race had an original ancestor, who could indeed challenge the 2 holy places. But now, the original ancestor has been suppressed. The giant axe does not have the strongest treasure. Logosya has not really grown up yet. If the Purple Moon Holy Land really gets angry and uses all its strength to hunt Logosya, can the original universe human race really stop it? All kinds of doubts flashed through his mind, and the Lord of Wuhan just felt that the original universe human race was probably crazy. However, the ancestor of reincarnation actually fought against 18 strong men from the Holy Land universe alone, and killed 6 of them. This strength. The Lord of Wuhan trembled, and a fear rose involuntarily in his heart. Lord Anyang looked at the Lord of Wuhan at this time and asked, "Wuhan, you and I have hatred with the ancestor of reincarnation, but his strength is far beyond the 2 of us. Do you still want to trouble him?" He didn't want to trouble Logosya at all. He even hoped that Logosya would quickly forget about him as a defeated general. The Lord of Wuhan glanced at Lord Anyang. He did not give a direct answer. But in his heart, he did not want to provoke Logosya again. After all, he only lost the Extinction God armor and some other items last time. If he provokes Logosya again, he will probably lose his life. Although the reincarnation deadline of their first universe era is approaching, the Lord of Wuhan does not want to die before the deadline. What if he transcends when the deadline comes? The Lord of Wuhan has such a desire in his heart. Thank you for your subscription, reward, and vote. I wish all book friends a happy May Day, and have a happy rest and fun. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 404. After separating from the founder of the giant axe, Logosya and Logofeng continued to the area where the cyan token left by Ji Fanza was as planned. Virtual Universe, the Temple of the Great Axe. The original ancestor, the founder of the giant axe, and the Lord of Chaos City were sitting next to a coffee table. The original ancestor made tea himself, poured a cup for the founder of the giant axe and the Lord of Chaos City, and said with a smile, "Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Try it." This tea was cultivated by Luo Feng's wife in the virtual universe. It's called Enlightenment Tea. After drinking it, strong men below the Lord of the Universe can improve their understanding of the law in a short time. This tea-making skill, I learned it from observing Luo Feng's wife's techniques. The founder of Giant Axe and the Lord of Chaos City raised their teacups and took a sip. They had already drank this tea, but now it was the tea brewed by the original ancestor himself, and the taste was a little different. After drinking tea, the original ancestor asked the founder of Giant Axe, The two children Luo Xia and Luo Feng continued towards the core area of the spaceship. Well, they continued towards the core area. Giant Axe nodded slightly, but before going to the core area, they told me that they wanted to stop by the area where the magic pillar of heaven is located. The Lord of Chaos City was surprised. Tian demonic pillar. Didn't they tell you about this? The giant axe looked towards the Chaos City Lord. The Lord of Chaos City shook his head. I was in retreat before. I didn't have much contact with them. What are they doing at the Tongtian magic pillar? It's about tempering one's will, Jewish replied, while imitating the original ancestors' tea-making technique and brewing tea. The Lord of Chaos City frowned. There is no danger in the area where the Tongtian magic pillar is located, but there are many dangers on the way to that place. Giant Axe laughed, poured tea for the original ancestor and the Lord of Chaos City, and said, "Don't worry. Rorschach is more powerful than you think." In the abyss, he took one look at the axe technique I used and applied it to my sword technique. Even the Lord of the Stars of the Divine Eye tribe almost couldn't stop him. His sword moves. The Lord of Chaos City was not surprised when he heard this, and said with a smile, "That child's understanding is indeed incredible. He can basically understand many secret techniques and skills just by taking a look at them." The original ancestor laughed and said, "Rorschach's understanding is the miracle of our human race and even the entire primitive universe in this era of reincarnation. With him, our human race is destined to transcend reincarnation in this era of reincarnation." The founder of Giant Axe and the Lord of Chaos City both smiled and nodded when they heard this. Perhaps the first and second universe eras will have the trouble of transcending reincarnation, but their original universe does not have such troubles. Let's not talk about the original ancestor, let's talk about Rorschach. As long as he grows up steadily, he will definitely be able to do it in the future. Beyond reincarnation. In this regard, the original ancestor, the founder of the Giant Axe, and the Lord of Chaos City did not have the slightest doubt. After chatting about Rorschach and Luo Feng for a while, the original ancestor changed the topic to the founder of the Giant Axe, and heard him say to the founder of the Giant Axe, "Giant Axe, I know you want to continue exploring the inner realm of Qingfeng realm, but I vaguely feel that something is not right, so I hope you won't go for the time being. The pressure on my human race is not great at the moment, so even if I want to go, you'd better wait for Rorschach to come back and enter with him. If it weren't for the original ancestor, he would have been exposed too early. He can also explore the inner realm of Qingfeng realm with the founder of Giant Axe. But waiting for Rorschach is the best option." Of course, the founder of the Giant Axe obeyed the words of the original ancestor. In the original work, the reason why the founder of Giant Axe went to explore the inner territory of Qingfeng realm was not only because he obtained a relatively complete map from Luo Feng, but also because the strength of the human race in the original universe was too weak. Apart from him, the strongest person in the universe, there is no other strongest person in the human race. In order to enhance the strength of the tribe, the founder of Giant Axe would choose to explore the Qingfeng realm. But now, the strength of the primitive human race is very powerful. On the surface, there are only two strongest men, the founder of the Giant Axe, and Rorschach, but secretly, there are also the three strongest men in the universe, the original ancestor, the Void Demon God, and the Zerg Queen. Among them, the original ancestor is still the most powerful, an existence that is invincible across the universe and sea. Therefore, the current founder of the Great Axe is not as urgent as in the original work. After hearing the words of the original ancestor, he just pondered slightly and said, "Okay, I won't enter the inner domain of Qingfeng realm first, and will explore in the known area. At the same time, I can protect other strong men of my human race." The black patterned stone pillar space is one of the few danger-free areas in the entire universe ship. Of course, the danger of strong people fighting each other is not included. Where there are strong people, there will be grudges, and if there are grudges, they will naturally fight. But this is only a man-made danger, and it is much weaker than other dangers in the spaceship. The entire space of the black-grained stone pillars is supported by 16 black-grained stone pillars that are thousands of light-years high. Except for the area close to the black-grained stone pillars, which is very condensed and cannot teleport, other areas of the entire space are teleportable. The black-patterned stone pillars are natural monuments. These 16 stone pillars, which are thousands of light-years high, have extremely deep black secret patterns on them. The secret patterns are so high, that even the strongest person in the universe cannot understand them. But just like the most powerful secret skill of ancient existence that Rorschach and Luo Feng saw in the hidden space of the abyss, because the secret patterns on the black-grained stone pillars do not gradually pass from low to high, from easy to difficult. So the black secret patterns all over the stone pillars are completely incomprehensible to all the powerful people who come to the stone pillar space. Each black-veined stone pillar is extremely powerful, more powerful than the strongest treasure, and its length of thousands of light-years alone can show it. And so far, no strong man has really been able to touch the black-veined stone pillar with his own hands, because the closer he gets to the black-veined stone pillar, the more terrifying the impact of the wool emitted by the stone pillar becomes. Even the strongest man in the universe cannot touch the black-veined stone pillar. But no matter what, this is a natural ancient relic that can be easily seen, and the secret patterns on it are of extremely high level. Such ancient relics naturally attract some dormant old guys to occupy here. Safe, teleportable, fast time flow, ancient relics. Many factors make this place a place for strong men to rest and practice when they venture into the depths of the universe. The fog is pervasive, and there is no end in sight. Luo Feng, who is dressed in silver armor, and Luo Xia, who is dressed in black armor, teleported twice over a short distance, and the fog in front of them became very thin. Because the space of the black-veined stone pillars is foggy at the bottom of the highest point and the edge of the surrounding areas, while there is no fog around the 16 black-veined stone pillars scattered in the center. There is another saying that the fog is almost gone in the boundary area between teleportation and non-teleportation. Swoosh! 2 rainbow lights streaked across the void. Haha, after 620 years, we finally arrived at the space of the black-veined stone pillars. In the void, Luo Feng shouted happily. Luo Xia looked at the black-veined stone pillars in the distance. With his eyesight, he could see the secret pattern on the stone pillars even if they were thousands of light-years apart. This secret pattern. Boom! The next moment, his understanding exploded. In Luo Xia's eyes, the black-veined stone pillars disappeared, replaced by endless majestic figures. They seemed to be practicing something and performing a magical movement. The trajectories of those movements eventually formed the black secret patterns on the stone pillars. Rightward arrow. Swallowed star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 405. The ancestor of reincarnation, Lord of the Galaxy. Suddenly, a voice came from far ahead. After hearing the voice, Luo Xia immediately suppressed his understanding and woke up from that mysterious state of enlightenment. Anyway, if he wanted to enter the state, he could enter it at any time. So it can be done anytime. He took a deep look at the black patterned stone pillar in the distance, looked at the dark blue rainbow light flying over, and quickly recognized the other person. Lord of Yanying. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Luo Xia and Luo Feng greeted the Lord of the Universe one after another. The Lord of Yanying is an alien universe lord in Hongmeng. He is extremely powerful and is at the same level as the Lord of Ice Peak. He usually travels in the inner realm of the 3 Jedi. He has many means at his disposal and is very good at saving lives. He is recognized by many forces in the universe as a being that is extremely difficult to provoke. The Lord of Yanying has a high status in Hongmeng. I heard that you two were coming a long time ago, so I have been waiting here, so when I saw 2 rainbow lights coming, I guessed it was you two. I didn't expect that when I came over, it was really you, ha ha ha. The Lord of Yanying said happily. Although a foreign race joined the Hongmen, the Lord of the Universe is extremely close to the strong men of the human race. Luo Feng said with a smile, "Excuse me, Lord Yanying, for waiting. I am really happy to see you here. The ancestor of reincarnation, Galaxy Lord, I still don't know why you came to this black patterned stone pillar space." Lord Yanying asked curiously. Although he learned from the virtual universe that Luo Xia and Luo Feng were coming, he did not know their specific purpose of coming here. "We are here to sharpen our will with the help of black patterned stone pillars," Luo Feng said directly. Oh! Lord Yanying was surprised. To sharpen one's will? There are not many people who come here specifically to sharpen one's will in the three eras of reincarnation of the Universe C and the two Holy Land universes. Most of the people here are resting here temporarily. Or they are studying the secret patterns on the black grained stone pillars. I have been here for some years. If you have any questions, you can ask me and I will tell you everything. Then I'll trouble Lord Yanying. Luo Feng was also polite. "May I ask what's going on with this black patterned stone pillar?" Although he and Luo Xia collected a lot of information about the black patterned stone pillar space. However, these materials are second-hand after all, and there are bound to be errors and omissions in them. It's best to ask someone directly at the scene. Because the black patterned stone pillar space is extremely safe, has ancient monuments and secret patterns, and is extremely high level, a group of strong people have always been entrenched here. It is worth noting that they are the three strongest existences. Rorschach asked, "Which three are they?" Lord Yanying said, "Those three beings are all the strongest in the universe. There are the strongest in the universe who are alone, and there are also those who have groups. They are the Star Lord Baiki and the ancestor of Blood Orchid in the first era of reincarnation, and the rampant demon god in the second era of reincarnation. It's the three of them." Luo Feng nodded. The information did mention these three strongest people in the universe. It seemed that they came to the black patterned stone pillar space a long time ago. Rorschach asked again, "What are the temperaments of these three strongest people in the universe?" Lord Yanying said, "Star-Lord Beiqi has an excellent personality. As long as you respect him, he will not bully others randomly. As for the ancestor of Blood Orchid, it is a plant life. In the area where it is spread, you must not get close to it within 1,000,000 kilometers, otherwise there is a danger of death. Both of them are okay, one has a good character, and the other is extremely evil, they can easily deal with it. The most troublesome thing is the rampaging demon." Luo Feng and Luo Xia looked at each other. When the Lord Yanying was speaking, both of them mentally verified the information and what the Lord Yanying said. They have also heard about some things about rampaging demons. This is a very dangerous existence that is difficult to deal with. The rampant demon god is the strongest person in the universe in the second era of reincarnation. Luo Feng and Luo Xia both have a lot of information in their minds about the strongest people in the universe from the three major reincarnation eras and the two major Holy Land universes. There are also differences among the strongest people in the universe. Some are good at souls, and some are good at material annihilation. There is also a big difference in whether they have the supreme treasure. But among the strongest people in the universe C, the rampant demon is extremely terrifying. Dare to call it horrible, but you can also tell something about it. In terms of his own strength, he can only be regarded as average among the strongest people in the universe. But he has an extremely powerful treasure. It was a very special set of armor called Blood Sea Demon Armor. In addition to normal defense capabilities, the Blood Sea demonic armor also comes with a Blood Sea hell filled with endless crazy consciousness impacts. The strong ones who fall into it will sink in the sea of blood hell and suffer a terrifying shock to their consciousness. The rampant demon god is a special being. He is born with a tendency to devour rocks, metals, etc., and is born with an extremely hard shell. It is said that the shell of his divine body has condensed too much essence of rocks and metals, its strength alone has reached an incredible level, and with the addition of his most powerful and precious armor, it is enough to roam the cosmic sea. The battle between the rampant demon god and the strongest men in other universes is average. But against the Lord of our universe, he has an absolute advantage. The Lord of the Swallow Eagle said, once he goes crazy, the impact of his will bursting out from his most powerful treasure will probably affect even the strongest person in the universe. And our Lord of the universe will be in a state of confusion in an instant, a state without any power to resist. As he said, he glanced at Luoxia, but with the strength of the ancestor of reincarnation, he should not be afraid of the rampant demon god. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. With the strength of his brother who almost killed the third true lord, of course he didn't have to worry about the rampant demon god. The rampant demon god is moody while flying, the Lord of the Swallow Eagle side, it is a loner and is not afraid of getting into trouble. So when we meet the rampant demon god, we, the lords of the universe, had better avoid it. If it weren't for Lord Baike, I and some other lords of the universe would have left here long ago. Lord Baike has a very good personality. In addition, he has been comprehending the Black Vein Stone Pillar for a long time. Generally, he will explain his gains publicly, which makes lords of the universe like me gain a lot. There are too few strongest people in the universe who are willing to teach us like this, so I and other lords of the universe are reluctant to leave. And the rampant demon god will also give face to the place where Lord Baike is. There is one thing to pay attention to. The rampant demon god likes to change his appearance. Some new lords of the universe don't know his life breath at all. Seeing the rampant demon god after his change of appearance, I am afraid they still don't recognize him and have no vigilance. Once they slightly anger the rampant demon god, they may die. As the Lord of the Swallow Eagle narrated, the three flew quickly. Soon, Luoxia and Luo Feng figured out the distribution of forces here. There are 16 Black Vein Stone Pillars in the Black Vein Stone Pillar space. Among them, Blood Orchid Ancestor has been in Black Vein Stone Pillar number 9 for a long time, and Baike Star Lord has been in Black Vein Stone Pillar number 2 for a long time. As for Rampant Demon God, he has no fixed place and likes to run around and disguise his identity. If you recognize his breath, it's fine, but if you don't recognize him, it will be dangerous. The most lively place in the entire Black Vein Stone Pillar space is Black Vein Stone Pillar number 2, because Baike Star Lord will occasionally lecture, and a large number of universe masters gather here. At this time, the place where Lord Yanying wants to take Luoxia and Luo Feng is Black Vein Stone Pillar number 2. Thank you all for your subscription, reward, and vote. Thank you very much. I wish you all a happy May Day. Be happy. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 406. In front of you is the number 2 black patterned stone pillar. It is the place where the most powerful people gather in the entire black patterned stone pillar space. The Lord of Yanying flapped his wings, broke through the air at high speed, and flew towards the number 2 heaven-reaching demonic pillar. Luoxia and Luo Feng followed the Lord of Yanying and looked at the black patterned stone pillar. As you get closer, you can feel the mystery and terror of the black patterned stone pillars more and more. The stone pillars are towering and endless, and their height extends directly beyond the limit of the field of vision, penetrating into the diffuse mist. The bottom of the black grained stone pillar also penetrates into the endless mist at the bottom. No one has ever known how high or deep the stone pillar is. Because even getting close to the black patterned stone pillars is extremely difficult. Even the most powerful people in the universe, such as Star Lord Baichi, have never been able to touch the black grained stone pillars, so no one has ever been able to observe the height and depth of the stone pillars. The so-called height of thousands of light years is actually just a speculation and estimate by people. After all, no matter what, this black-grained stone pillar exists in the spaceship. Call. 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 A large number of huge rocks rotate and fly around the black-grained stone pillars. Just like the Earth flies around the Sun, these huge rocks also fly around the black-grained stone pillars never tiredly. Among the dense and endless huge rocks, there are also some of the most conspicuous black spire buildings with exquisite carvings. These buildings are spatial chambers. These spatial secret rooms require tokens to enter. For example, the black token that Luo Xia and Luo Feng exploded from the Lord of the Five Huns, as long as they find the corresponding space secret room, they can enter it with the token. It is very simple to find the corresponding space secret room. You only need to rely on the resonance of the token to find it. Of course, there are so many secret chambers in this black patterned stone pillar space that they are countless. It is difficult to quickly find the corresponding secret chambers. You can only try one by one among the 16 stone pillars. In flight, the Lord of Yanying has been secretly observing Luo Feng and Luo Xia. As the number 2 black patterned stone pillar gets closer and closer, the powerful impact of will become stronger and stronger. Kill! 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 The roar of hundreds of millions of troops fighting and roaring resounded deep in the soul. At this point, those who have just become the master of the universe need to use all their strength to resist the impact of will brought by the black patterned stone pillars. However, the Lord of Yanying discovered that Luo Feng, who was still in the realm of the universe venerable, was very indifferent and showed no sign of difficulty on his face. As for Rorschach, even more relaxed and indifferent. But the Lord of Yanying was not surprised. After all, Rorschach's reputation has already been established. An existence that can frighten countless strong men in the cosmic sea and cause great losses to the Purple Moon Holy Land, presumably can easily resist the impact of will emanating from the black patterned stone pillars at this time. Only Luo Feng's performance surprised the Lord Yanying. I'm not surprised that the ancestor of reincarnation can resist this level of will impact, but this Luo Feng has only been practicing for a short time. Is his will as strong as his younger brother? The Lord of Yanying murmured secretly in his heart, very shocked. I have been practicing for a long time, and I have been here for a long time. Only then can I sharpen my will to a peak and be able to resist easily. How can he resist easily? The Lord of Yanying. Luo Feng suddenly pointed to the distance. On some rocks flying around the black patterned stone pillars, there were some powerful beings. He asked curiously. At a glance, I saw several strong men. How many strong men are there in total at the number 2 black patterned stone pillar? Nearly 100 people. The Lord of Yanying answered directly, you see, their distances from the black patterned stone pillars vary, some are far away, and some are close. This all depends on the will of each strong person. The stronger the will, naturally, we can choose the boulder closer to the black-grained stone pillar to rest for a while. The deepest one is the Beiqi Star Lord. Luo Feng got the answer and nodded. As they got closer to the black patterned stone pillars, they had a more intuitive feeling of the towering stone pillars. What is the concept of being thousands of light years high? The entire solar system is small compared to the stone pillars. The closer they get, the more majestic the black patterned stone pillars feel, and the overwhelming aura makes Luo Xia and Luo Feng tremble in their hearts. The three of them continued flying, and when they were about to arrive at the training location of Lord Yanying, he couldn't help but said to Luo Feng, Galaxy Lord. The closer we are, the stronger the will impact emitted by the stone pillars. The place where I usually meditate is in the depths, which is close to my limit, so it can sharpen my will even more. If you, Lord of the Galaxy, can't bear it, you have to go in advance. Talk to me. He didn't say this to Rorschach. In his opinion, as the ancestor of reincarnation who had defeated 3 of the strongest men in the universe, he was probably far superior to him in terms of strength of will, so there was no need to remind him. But Luo Feng was different. After all, Luo Feng's realm and strength were much weaker. Hearing the words of Lord Yanning, Luo Feng smiled, nodded, and said, "Okay, thank you for reminding me, I will pay attention, just in time. I also want to test my willpower." In fact, my willpower was not very strong back then. But when he recognized the Star Tower, his will changed. Later, he gained experience in the wing space, so he can still withstand the impact of his will that he can feel now. The three of them kept flying inside. The Lord of Yanning is observing Luo Feng all the time. When he thinks about it, Luo Feng, who has only practiced for more than 10 epochs, how strong can he be even if he has sharpened his will since birth? But Luo Feng always had a natural and casual expression. It was obvious that he couldn't even make Luo Feng struggle, let alone reach the limit. The Lord of Yanning couldn't help but murmur to himself, "He is worthy of being the eldest brother of the ancestor of reincarnation. He may not be as good as the ancestor of reincarnation in terms of strength and realm, but his strength of will is also very top-notch." Lord Yanning, as we approach, the flow of time is constantly changing. Luo Feng asked, "The flow of time here is already more than 200 times faster. How many times faster is the flow of time in the place where you usually sharpen your will?" As we get closer, the velocity of time increases rapidly. Lord Yanning said, "The velocity of time in my place is about 1,100 times. Like Star-Lord Bike, among the strongest people in the universe, they are all beings with extremely terrifying wills. The time he has been cultivating here has exceeded one era of reincarnation. According to him, the speed of time there is more than 130,000 times." Hearing this huge multiple, Luo Xia and Luo Feng looked at each other. This is really the right place. Especially Rorschach. He has now reached a certain bottleneck in his practice of the 6 paths of reincarnation. After the life gene multiplier reaches 80,000 to 90,000 times, the improvement becomes extremely slow. It may not even double in almost 1,000 years. If time here can really flow that fast, it can save him a lot of time in his 6 paths of reincarnation practice. Lord of Yanning. Beside him, are 2 black-haired humans who look very similar. Couldn't they be the ancestor of reincarnation and the Silver Wing Lord? It should be. I heard that the ancestor of Samsara killed many powerful people from the Purple Moon Holy Land in Yanshui Lake. The powerful people from the Purple Moon Holy Land were very angry. Many powerful people with the most powerful treasures said that they would make the ancestor of Samsara pay the price. Around the black graned stone pillars, some lords of the universe discovered Lord Yanning, Luo Xia and Luo Feng. They watched Luo Xia and Luo Feng follow the Lord Yanning and keep approaching the number 2 black patterned stone pillar, and they were secretly shocked. They could approach deeper than them, and they obviously had stronger wills. They couldn't believe it, even if Luo Xia okay, how come Luo Feng, who has only been practicing for such a short time, has such a strong will? Some of them are very strong and have strong fighting ability, but that doesn't mean their will is terrible. After all, among the nearly 100 universe masters here, only some are sharpening their wills for a long time, and most of them are just taking a break here. This is just a safe transit station. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yun Song. Chapter 407. That's where I practice. The Lord of Swallow Eagle flew at high speed and soon landed on a high-speed flying boulder. Luo Feng and Luo Xia also landed on it. Galaxy Lord, you can actually withstand the impact of will here. I admire you. The Lord of Swallow Eagle said to Luo Feng with some emotion. Luo Feng smiled. If it weren't for the transformation of his soul when he recognized the Master in the Star Tower, and the tempering of the wing space in the Qingfeng realm, he would not be able to withstand the impact of will at this distance. Rorschach standing next to him was even more relaxed. When he recognized the Master of the Star God Tree, he endured the original pressure of the original universe. That endless pressure was more terrifying than any impact of will. At this moment, the impact of the stone pillar consciousness at this distance was like the wind blowing on Logosia's face in spring, without any negative impact at all. Rorschach looked at the boulder where the Lord of Swallow Eagle practiced. The boulder was very large, hundreds of millions of kilometers long, and the uneven places on it were like mountains and valleys on the earth. After taking a look, Logosia looked further inside. He could see other lords of the universe on some boulders flying at high speed. There are still many lords of the universe ahead. Logosia said. The Lord of the Swallow Eagle nodded and further explained to Logosia and Logofeng. Most of the nearly 100 lords of the universe gathered here are temporarily stopping here, not deliberately sharpening their wills and practicing here. And those who really sharpen their wills here, generally have a high level of will among the lords of the universe, and some have reached the peak of the lords of the universe. Some have even broken through the bottleneck. In terms of will, they can be comparable to the strongest in the universe. The Lord of the Swallow Eagle stretched out his finger and tapped a few lords of the universe on the boulders. Look. Those 19. They are very close to the black stone pillars. Their wills have reached a limit of the will of the Lord of the universe. To move forward, they must break through the bottleneck, undergo a qualitative change, and reach the point where the will is comparable to that of the strongest in the universe. The 19 lords of the universe we can see now are all relatively close to me. There are also strong ones in deeper places. In addition to the Lord of Bicastar, the strongest in the universe, there are 3 lords of the universe whose wills are comparable to those of the strongest in the universe. Logosia asked curiously, which forces are the 3 lords of the universe from? They are from the Holy Land universe and the first reincarnation era respectively. The Lord of the Swallow Eagle said, the strong man in the first reincarnation era is from the God Eye clan. You too have caused the Lord of the ultimate arrow of the God Eye clan to fall and seized the treasure left by the Lord of the 5 Chaos. You must be careful. Logofeng said, the God Eye clan, what is his name? The God Eye clan, the Lord of the Pure Eye. The Lord of the Swallow Eagle said solemnly. The Lord of the Pure Eye is a disciple of the first true Lord of the Divine Eye clan. He is very good at soul attacks, illusions, and other means. He has a special illusion treasure pure light mirror on him. The value of this pure light mirror is almost the same as the extinction god armor of the Lord of the 5 Chaos. The information of the Lord of the Pure Eye is in the database of Logosia and Logofeng. The divine power of the Lord of the Pure Eye is close to the perfect limit at the stage of the Lord of the Universe. At this time, the Lord of the Swallow Eagle added that his will power can be comparable to the strongest in the universe. Coupled with the powerful pure light mirror, his strength is infinitely close to the strongest in the universe. After recalling the information of the Lord of the Pure Eye, Logofeng smiled and said, thank you Lord of the Swallow Eagle for reminding me. The strength of the Lord of the Pure Eye is indeed strong, but he should not dare to trouble me and my brother again. Although the news of the defeat of the third true Lord will not spread in the universe C, there will probably be people who know it within the Divine Eye clan. The strength of the Lord of the Pure Eyes is comparable to that of the Lord of the 5 Pure Ones. I think he must have heard the news of the defeat of the third Lord. If he knew that the third Lord, the strongest person in the universe, was defeated by Logosia, he would definitely not come to cause trouble. After all, that is the third Lord. In the ranking of the strength of the Divine Eye clan, he is second only to the first Lord. The Lord of the Pure Eyes will not be arrogant and think that his current strength can match the third Lord. So he naturally dare not provoke Logosia. Lord Yanying, you are practicing here, and the 2 brothers will not disturb you. Logofeng said with a smile. Ancestor of Samsara, Lord of the Galaxy, you are sharpening your will in the black lined stone pillar space. If you have any problems, you can always find me through the virtual universe. I am always here. Lord Yanying said. If you encounter any problems, you can also contact me in the virtual universe. Luoxia said. Lord Yanying was a little excited and nodded, okay. The strength of the ancestor of samsara is obvious to all. If he really encountered any danger, the ancestor of reincarnation was closest to him. As long as he could contact Luoxia, the Lord of Swallow Eagle felt that he was really in no danger in this black veined stone pillar space. After bidding farewell to the Lord of Swallow Eagle, Luoxia and Luofeng continued to fly towards the black veined stone pillar. Not long after, Luofeng said, "The speed of time is really soaring, 1,500 times, 1,800 times, 2,300 times, 2,800 times. Luoxia felt the distortion of time and space, and the space had already condensed. The speed of time was terribly fast as they approached the black veined stone pillar. When the speed of time reached 3,000 times that of the outside world, Luofeng finally stopped and landed directly on a huge flying rock. Luoxia followed him down. This distance is about the same as the distance where the 19 universe masters pointed out by the Lord of the Swallow Eagle are located. The pressure is so great. Luofeng stood on the huge rock, looking at the towering and tall Tongtian demon pillar in the distance, and said to Luoxia, "The impact of the will here has made me very uncomfortable. But fortunately, I didn't lose my composure. No wonder the 19 didn't continue to move forward. If they continued to move forward, I'm afraid they would not be able to control their divine bodies and would lose their composure. The so-called loss of composure means, all kinds of signs such as trembling all over the body, sweating like pulp, and blood seeping out will appear, and the soul will be in pain. Xiao, I just need to sharpen my will here. If I go further, it will not be the area I can step into now. I will sharpen my will in the future, on this boulder." Luofeng said to Luoxia. As soon as he finished speaking, he looked at his brother and asked, "What about you? How do you feel?" Luofeng was a little curious about his brother's willpower. Although he knew that his brother's willpower was very strong, he had no idea how strong it was. "I can still move forward." Luoxia looked at the towering stone pillar and said in a relaxed voice. "Then you continue to move forward. I will leave a clone here and then go to find the secret room of the black token," Luofeng said. "Okay," Luoxia nodded. "Brother, if you encounter any danger, remember to contact me, I will continue to move forward." "Well, go ahead." Luofeng watched Luoxia turn into a rainbow light and continue to fly towards the black stone pillar. In the distance, some universe masters also discovered Luoxia's actions. They were surprised. Is that the ancestor of reincarnation of the human race? It's him. At this distance, he is still approaching the stone pillar. This distance has surpassed the Lord of the Pure Eye and others. How terrible! The consciousness strength of the Lord of the Pure Eye and others is enough to rival the strongest in the universe, but now the ancestor of reincarnation has surpassed them. Doesn't this mean that the ancestor of reincarnation has a stronger will than the average strongest in the universe? I think it's normal. This ancestor of reincarnation has the combat power of the strongest in the universe. So his will strength is comparable to the top strongest in the universe, so it should be okay, right? I don't think it's a big problem either. The question now is, how close can the ancestor of samsara get to the stone pillar? Like the Lord of Bechi? Or can he not reach the strength of will as the Lord of Bechi? I guess he can't get to the distance where the Lord of Bechi is. The Lord of Bechi is the strongest person in the universe who has been famous for a long time. The ancestor of samsara is indeed powerful, but how many years has he lived? I also think that his willpower cannot be compared with the real top strongest person in the universe. These lords of the universe watched Luoxia fly towards the stone pillar, and they talked about it one by one. They all thought that Luoxia's willpower might be stronger than theirs, but it was definitely not comparable to the Lord of Bechi. Luoxia naturally couldn't hear the discussions of these lords of the universe. He just kept moving forward. The time flow rate was 10,000 times. 60,000 times. 90,000 times. Soon, Luoxia arrived at the area where the time flow rate was 130,000 times. In this area, the will impact of the black vein stone pillar was already very terrifying. Even the most powerful Lord of the universe will have his soul destroyed by the terrifying impact of will as soon as he enters this area. Even the strongest person in the universe will have his soul damaged when he comes here. Only those with the strongest will in the universe can withstand the impact of the will of the black stone pillar at this time. I'm late, sorry. Swallowed Star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo Yoon Song. Chapter 408. In an area where time flows 130,000 times faster, Rorschach's soul finally felt a little pressure. Is that Star-Lord bike? While he was flying, he suddenly felt the gaze from a huge rock. He followed his feeling and saw an old man who looked similar to a human being, with two horns on his head and a threaded eye on his forehead. The old man was looking at Luoxia with a confused look, as if he had seen something extremely strange. There are usually no people in the area where he is. Only a rampage demon god would come to him occasionally, but the aura of the person in front of him was completely different from that of a rampage demon god. How long have you been in seclusion? Why did a new face suddenly appear in this black patterned stone pillar space? Star-Lord Beiqi was filled with doubts. Little friend, if you go any further, the impact of Shizu's will be terrifying. Even I can't resist it, but don't go any further. Although he didn't know Luoxia, Star Master Beiqi, who liked to teach others, was kind-hearted. Seeing Luoxia's dumbfounded look and continuing to approach the black patterned stone pillar, he couldn't help but send a message through his divine power to remind him. Luoxia stopped, bowed slightly to Star-Lord Beiqi, and said with a smile. Thank you Star Master for reminding me. I am Rorschach of the human race. I can still withstand the impact of the will ahead. After a slight pause, he smiled and nodded to greet Star-Lord Beiqi, leaving behind the words I won't disturb Star-Lord's practice, then turned into a rainbow light and continued to fly towards the black-grained stone pillar. Star-Lord Beiqi was startled and watched in surprise as Rorschach surpassed him and continued to move forward. He couldn't help but murmur to himself. The Rorschach of the human race, is the human race of the original ancestor? When did such a character appear in the original universe? Judging from his level of strength, it seems that he is still at the level of the Lord of the universe. He can actually withstand the impact of the will here, and still to be able to move on, this. He was beyond shocked. The Lord of the universe has the strength of will of the strongest person in the universe, and Star-Lord Bike understands that. But the Lord of the universe has a strength of will that surpasses the strongest person in the universe, but it is beyond his comprehension. Star-Lord Beiqi watched helplessly as Rorschach surpassed him and kept approaching the black patterned stone pillar. 150,000 times the time flow rate. 190,000 times. 280,000 times. Soon, Rorschach's figure disappeared from the sight of Star-Lord Bike. At first, Star-Lord Beiqi thought that Rorschach would soon fall under the will of the black patterned stone pillar after surpassing him. However, as Rorschach flew further and further away, the look of shock on his face became more intense. In the end, Star-Lord Beiqi couldn't sit still. The human Rorschach actually flew to an area where even the strongest person in the universe could not set foot. What kind of saint is this human Rorschach? With such strength of will, I'm afraid that even if the original ancestor comes, he will be willing to be defeated, right? The human race actually produced such a genius after the original ancestor was suppressed. Star-Lord Beiqi was filled with doubts and shock. He had been in seclusion here and knew very little about the outside world. At the moment of doubt, he asked the incarnation of his divine power left outside to find out the news. Soon after, he got Rorschach's detailed information. The rise of Genius War, the original star defeated the three strongest aliens in the universe, the Universe C defeated the Lord of Anyang, causing the death of the Lord of Arrows, killed 6 or 7 Universe Masters from the Purple Moon Holy Land. Shocking. Star-Lord Bei Chi was shocked after reading Rorschach's information. Good guy. After practicing for more than 100,000 years, his performance is so terrifying. Even the strongest man in the universe was defeated by him. Star-Lord Bei Chi looked in the direction where Luoxia disappeared. After a long time, he shook his head slightly and muttered to himself, "What a genius, I just don't know how close this ancestor of reincarnation can be to the black patterned stone pillar." Rorschach, who was talked about by Star-Lord Bike, was still flying. When he reached the area with a flow rate of more than 1 million times, the black veined stone pillar finally gave him a lot of pressure. But at this time, he was very close to the black grained stone pillar. According to Rorschach's visual inspection, his current position is only 100,000 light-years away from the black grained stone pillar. In this area, the will impact of the black patterned stone pillar, according to Luoxia's estimation, is already comparable to the will impact of the void true God level. If his soul hadn't been extremely powerful and had resisted the original pressure of the original universe, his soul would have been crushed and shattered by the impact of the stone pillar's will the moment he rushed into this area. Rorschach moved on. Soon, he was only 10,000 light-years away from the black-grained stone pillar. In this area, the impact of the stone pillars will almost condensed into substance. In Luoxia's sight, towering shadows wearing black armor rushed towards him roaring the word kill. These towering shadows of armor are not real. They are the embodiment of the will impact of the black patterned stone pillars. Kill. Facing the charge of these towering phantoms, Rorschach also roared, transformed his will, held a soul sword, used sword skills, and rushed into the seemingly endless phantoms of armored warriors. Silent fighting took place in this area. Rorschach's soul and will continued to approach the black patterned stone pillar while fighting the armored warrior. When he approached the black patterned stone pillar, which was only 1,000 light-years away, the majestic shadows wearing black armor, their aura had reached the eternal true God level. But Rorschach's soul strength is stronger than them. Even though the towering shadows of these black armors were like an endless tide, constantly surging towards Luoxia, his soul will was still like an indestructible rock in the tide, allowing the towering shadows to charge and kill, always standing tall and towering. Kill. Luoxia kept fighting. At the beginning, his movement speed was very fast, but later, his movement speed slowed down. Fortunately, at this time, the time flow rate in the area where he was located had reached tens of millions of times. Even if he spent tens of millions of years here, only a little time had passed in the outside world. In this way, Luoxia fought with the towering shadows while approaching the black-veined stone pillar. The area he arrived at now was a place where no one had been before. Since the spaceship appeared in the Universe C, no strong man had ever come to the place where Luoxia was now. Even the two ancestors of the Holy Land who had transcended, and the original ancestor, had never been as close to the black-veined stone pillar as Luoxia. Finally, Luoxia came to a position only 1 light-year away from the stone pillar. At this time, the aura of the armor phantom is as strong as the level of the Chaos Lord. To be honest, if the real combat power is compared, Luoxia, who is now the strongest in the universe, cannot compare with these armor phantoms, and may be killed in an instant. But at this time, the competition is the strength of the soul. Luoxia has no idea how strong his soul is, but he has taken the will impact of the void true God and the eternal true God in front of him. Facing the soul impact of the Chaos Lord level, Luoxia still has no signs of collapse. He is still fighting and moving forward. I don't know how long it has been. Under the terrible will impact, Luoxia has lost his perception of time. Finally, Luoxia came to the front of the black-veined stone pillar. At this time, he can touch the black-veined stone pillar as long as he stretches out his hand. You are very good. Just when Luoxia was about to stretch out his hand and touch the black veined stone pillar, a magnificent voice, as if coming from the end of time, sounded in the depths of Luoxia's soul. Vaguely, he seemed to see a huge figure, with a tall and heroic figure, exuding the temperament of an iron-blooded general. Behind his towering figure, there were also towering soldiers exuding iron-blooded temperament. The huge figure looked down at Rorschach, and around him, 16 strange black sticks were suspended. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Swallowed Star, My Understanding is Beyond Belief. Author, Bo Yoon Song. Chapter 409. Rorschach looked at the towering giant with a puzzled expression. Who are you? The giant laughed and said, You can call me General. As he finished speaking, the 16 sticks surrounding him moved slightly, bursting out with endless will impact. If Rorschach had not adapted to this kind of will impact, his soul would have been destroyed in an instant. Rorschach looked at the 16 sticks. It can be clearly seen that the secret pattern on one of the 16 sticks is exactly the same as the one on the black patterned stone pillar number 2. Could it be that this black patterned stone pillar is the weapon of this so-called general? Rorschach was guessing in his mind. The general seemed to be able to clearly see what was in Luoxia's mind. Without waiting for Luoxia to ask, he smiled and said, That's right, the black patterned stone pillars you call are actually my telepathy weapons. There are 16 of them in total. After their fall, they were scattered here. The black patterned stone pillar, which is probably thousands of light years high, is a person's telepathic weapon. Rorschach said it was impossible not to be surprised. His eyes widened. He thought about many possibilities regarding the black-grained stone pillars, but he never thought that they could be telepathic weapons. General, you have fallen. Luoxia looked at the majestic giant curiously. Since the other party had fallen, what he saw at this time was the same as the Star God King. Was it a thought he once had? A strong man at the level of a God King is indeed terrifying. Even though his body has been dead for who knows how many years, the thought left behind is as if the other person is still really alive. I fell countless years ago. The majestic giant sighed, What you see now is just a thought of mine. Young man, you are very powerful. For endless years, I thought that no one could get close to my chaos star before becoming an eternal true god. Tai, you did it. What surprises me most is that in your true state, you are just the master of the universe, not even a true god. The Lord of the universe can get close to my chaos heavenly star iron. Even my original subordinates couldn't do this. Their final achievements were basically the true god of the void and the true god of eternity. Rorschach looked at the general in surprise. In the universe C, no matter who he is, he cannot tell any information related to the true god of the void, but now, the general said it calmly and relaxedly, as if even the supreme rules were going to impose on him when he spoke. A void. How powerful must the general be during his lifetime to be able to do this? Could it be that you have already come into contact with that realm? Luoxia was thinking in his mind, with a look of surprise on his face, so the real name of these black patterned stone pillars is Chaos Sky Star Iron. The general laughed and said, The reason for this name is that I accidentally obtained a special treasure called the Sky Star in the depths of chaos, and finally refined that treasure into these 16 telepathy weapons. This is where the name Chaos Star Iron comes from. Luoxia nodded, General, why does this Chaos Sky Star Iron have such a powerful will impact? In the area where he is now, the strength of the will impact emitted by the Chaos Sky Star Iron is not much different from the original coercion of the original universe. It is very terrifying. This Chaos Sky Star Iron can absorb and greatly amplify the soul thoughts of the holder. Back then, these 16 Chaos Sky Star Irons followed me on the battlefield and absorbed the thoughts emitted by endless powerful men. Naturally, they would have such a strong will. Impact. Rorschach suddenly understood, no wonder the impact of Chaos Sky Star Iron's will was so terrifying, even time and space were distorted, making the flow of time in different places completely different. This kind of power is truly terrifying. I have fallen long ago. If you like this Chaos Sky Star Iron, just use it, the general said with a smile. Luo Xia was overjoyed and was not polite. Thank you so much, General. Haha. Okay. I like this kind of character. The general is also straightforward, and he is even more happy to see Luo Xia being so direct. General, how do I collect these Chaos Star Irons? Luo Xia asked. The general said, how you usually conquer the treasure is how you collect this Chaos Sky Star Iron. However, although your soul will is very strong, your level is too low after all. With your current strength, you simply cannot conquer the 16 Chaos Sky Stars. Collect all the iron. The general means. With your current strength, you can master at most one piece of Chaos Sky Star Iron. And until you become the master of Chaos, you will not be able to activate more than 50% of the power of Chaos Sky Star Iron. Luo Xia was surprised, aren't these 16 Chaos Star Irons integrated into one body? Do you actually need to recognize each one as its master? They are a set, but they are a little special. Each piece of Chaos Sky Star Iron needs to be identified individually. The general explained briefly. Rorschach suddenly said, that's it? He looked at the black patterned stone pillar that was thousands of light years high and said to the general, General, I'm beginning to recognize my master. Just admit it. The majestic giant said with a smile on his face, when you recognize your master, you still need to withstand the impact of Chaos Sky Star Iron's will. This impact is the most powerful. Even the Lord of Chaos may not be able to withstand it. Even the Lord of Chaos may not be able to withstand the impact of his will. Luo Xia whispered, raised his brows, and penetrated his divine power into the black patterned stone pillars. As his divine power was injected, the next moment, the world suddenly changed. In Luo Xia's sea of consciousness, a towering and infinitely high stone pillar suddenly appeared. It seemed to pierce Luo Xia's sea of consciousness, and it was so huge that it almost filled Luo Xia's sea of consciousness. Then, this towering and infinitely high stone pillar suddenly collapsed. Boom! In Luo Xia's sea of consciousness, as the stone pillar collapsed, a storm of consciousness was set off. It was like endless soul power was overturning the river and the sea. Luo Xia only felt waves of pain in his soul, and there was a feeling that his soul was about to collapse. Luo Xia was surprised in his heart. It was worthy of the will shock that could cause the fall of the Chaos Lord. It was really terrifying. However, when the soul enslaved the original universe, the soul shock he suffered was more terrible and terrifying than now. He survived at that time. Not to mention now. In the waves of terrifying shocks that seemed to be able to tear the soul apart, Luo Xia's soul became more and more brilliant. Oh! The general made an unexpected sound. In that brilliant soul, he seemed to see an existence that surpassed his past. That existence was so great that endless time and space and reincarnation no longer had any meaning to him. He stood quietly in the unknown void. The general looked at him, stunned. For a long time, his eyes were filled with blood and tears, and he shouted excitedly. So that's it? So that's it? The road can still go on. The road can really go on. He shouted like this many times. It seemed like he was shouting to himself, and also to those comrades and compatriots who had fought side by side with him. After a long while, the general sighed dejectedly, it's a pity, we all took the wrong road. What if now? He looked at his comrades and compatriots who stood side by side with him, and murmured in a low voice, don't look back, there is no way to go, alas. While the general was feeling sad, Rorschach had already recognized the number 2 black-veined stone pillar, that is, the Chaos Star Iron. Boom boom boom. All the strong men gathered at the number 2 black vein stone pillar saw that the black vein stone pillar, which was tens of millions of light years high, began to rumble. The next moment, it suddenly shrank rapidly and finally disappeared in the endless chaos. The strong men were at a loss. What happened? What about such a big black vein stone pillar? Swallowed star, my understanding is beyond belief. Author, Bo-Yoon Song. Chapter 410. The entire black patterned stone pillar space was in an uproar. Some of the strong men gathered here are just here to take a rest and will leave soon. There are also many strong men who came here specially to use the black patterned stone pillars to hone their will. But now, the black vein stone pillar disappeared. The black grain stone pillars that had remained here motionless since the existence of the spaceship disappeared. Disappeared suddenly. What's going on? Why did the black patterned stone pillar disappear? Yes, how did the black grain stone pillar disappear? Why did the black patterned stone pillars disappear? If the doubts and shocks in the hearts of the universe masters from various forces were vented, it would be enough to turn this area into a sea of emotions, and it would also be a stormy sea. They were all shocked and confused. Have no idea what happened. You know, the black grain stone pillars existed here countless years ago. No one has ever been close to the black grain stone pillar. For endless years, the black patterned stone pillars have not changed at all. But now, the black grain stone pillar disappeared. The lords of the universe were shocked and began to ask around, trying to find the reason for the disappearance of the black grain stone pillars. Quickly go. After the stone pillar disappeared, the terrifying impact of will also disappeared. Go to the front and see what happened, which actually caused the number 2 black patterned stone pillar to disappear. The Lord of the Universe was the first to react and immediately flew towards the location where black pattern pillar number 2 disappeared. As soon as the stone pillar disappeared, the terrifying impact of will disappeared. Now they, the masters of the universe, can quickly approach the location where the stone pillar was originally. These lords of the universe quickly flew towards the place where the black patterned stone pillar disappeared. Luo Feng's demon killer clan clone was also among them. His original body went to find the secret room space of the black token. The demon killer clan clone stayed here, preparing to use the will impact of the number 2 black grain stone pillar to sharpen his will, but he didn't expect that before he had been sharpening for a long time, the black grain stone pillar disappeared. He was startled. At this time, following the disappearance of the stone pillars in front of the other universe masters, Luo Feng had a vague feeling in his heart. Could it be that Xiao Xia had something to do with the disappearance of the black patterned stone pillars? Look. That's Lord Beiqi. Star-Lord Beiqi. Star-Lord Beiqi, do you know why the black patterned stone pillar number 2 disappeared? The Lord of the Universe flew very fast and actually met the Star-Lord Beiqi. They all asked Star-Lord Bike about the reason for the disappearance of the stone pillars. These universe masters all felt that as the person closest to the stone pillar, Star-Lord Beiqi should know the reason why the stone pillar disappeared. After being asked, Star-Lord Beiqi shook his head and answered everyone, I don't know why the stone pillar disappeared. Just now he saw the black patterned stone pillar disappear, and he looked confused. It took him a while to react, and he went directly to the place where the stone pillar disappeared to check. However, the stone pillar was thousands of light years high at the beginning, and its width was also extremely astonishing. 100 light years. The area is very vast and vast. Star-Lord Beiqi had just arrived here, and before he could find out the reason for the disappearance of the stone pillars, other universe masters rushed over. Doesn't even Star-Lord Bike know about it? The masters of the universe were very surprised when they heard this answer. Many people initially thought that the reason why the stone pillars disappeared was related to Star-Lord Bike. But now it seems that it is not. So why did the black grain stone pillars disappear? Quickly ask, have the black stone pillars in other directions disappeared? the Lord of the Universe reacted and quickly sent a message. So everyone went to contact other people and inquire about the situation of other black patterned stone pillars. Although most of the masters of the universe gathered at the number 2 black grain stone pillar, there were also some strong men who went to other black grain stone pillars to sharpen their will. Soon, these masters of the universe received a response. The other black grain stone pillars are fine. Except for the disappearance of our number 2 black patterned stone pillar, the other stone pillars have not disappeared. I heard that the other black stone pillars have not disappeared. The masters of the universe were even more curious. Why did our number 2 black grain stone pillar disappear? They began to explore the area where the stone pillar disappeared. The speed and efficiency of nearly 100 universe masters were very high. Soon, they had explored most of the area. Luo Feng's Demon Killer clan clone is also investigating. But apparently, they didn't get any useful information. The disappearance of the black patterned stone pillar is not a trivial matter. We must send this news back. For endless years, the black patterned stone pillars have stood here quietly without any changes. But now they suddenly disappeared. I'm afraid it is related to some big secret in the spaceship. Send the news back to the clan quickly. If we can find the reason why the black patterned stone pillars disappeared, we might be able to find a way to transcend reincarnation. The last words were spoken by the Lord of the Pure Eye of the Divine Eye clan. He quickly conveyed the news of the disappearance of the black patterned stone pillars back to his clan through the incarnation of his divine power. At the same time, the East Emperor Holy Land Universe, the Zio Holy Land Universe, the Second Reincarnation Era, other forces in the original universe. Most of the forces in the universe have learned about the disappearance of the black grain stone pillars. For a moment, no matter it was the cosmic sea or the primitive universe, all the powerful people were surprised. They couldn't hold back and flew towards the black patterned stone pillar space. Virtual Universe, Thunder Island, in Rorschach's temple. Xiao Xia. Luo Feng flew into the temple and called out to Luo Xia. Brother Luo Xia's consciousness left in the virtual universe was teaching his apprentice, Dituo. Seeing his brother coming, he waved his hand and said to Dituo who was listening below, "You go back first. If you have any questions, come and ask me later." "Yes, teacher." Dituo saluted respectfully and saluted Luo Feng again. "Uncle Master, Dituo will take his leave first." Luo Feng nodded slightly and watched Dituo disappear. Then he looked at Luo Xia and asked, "The sudden disappearance of the number 2 black vein stone pillar, is it related to you?" Yes, Luo Xia nodded with a smile. The real name of the black vein stone pillar is actually Chaos Star Iron, which is a telekinetic weapon beyond the level of the strongest treasure. Chaos Star Iron, a telekinetic weapon beyond the level of the strongest treasure. Luo Feng showed a surprised look. The black vein stone pillar is actually a telekinetic weapon. Luo Xia smiled. "I didn't expect that the stone pillar would be a telekinetic weapon." "So was the number 2 black vein stone pillar hidden?" Luo Feng asked. Luo Xia nodded. "Well, I put it away. After this Chaos Star Iron recognizes its master, it can grow or shrink as I wish, and its power is infinite." "Where are you now?" Luo Feng asked again. Luo Xia said, "On the way to find your original body." "How do you know where I am?" Luo Feng was curious. After separating from his brother, the two had no contact. How did Xiao Xia know where his original body was now? This black vein stone pillar space was derived from the Chaos Star Iron. Now that I control a piece of Chaos Star Iron, I naturally control a part of the black vein stone pillar space, so I can know where you are, big brother. Luo Xia explained. Luo Feng suddenly realized that this was the case. He looked at his brother with a dazed look. Luo Feng had never thought that his brother could actually recognize a black vein stone pillar as his master, as a weapon. This is really terrifying. Imagine that when Luo Xia controls the black vein stone pillar to attack, a stone pillar thousands of light years high toppled and fell, How terrifying would that be?